Hi, welcome to the WendyLyfe. Today's show you do not want to miss. I have Pastor Cornelius Clark from Chicago. He's here and he has a ministry called Father Factor. So we're going to get into what that's about. Stay tuned. Welcome to the WendyLyfe. Today's show is so exciting. I have Pastor Cornelius Clark here with us from Chicago, and he has a ministry for fathers called Father Factor. So we're going to get to know him today. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Wendy.
It's exciting to meet you.
Likewise.
So tell me, why did you become a pastor?
Why did I become a pastor?
Yes.
Me and the Lord still have some conversations about that to yet make. But no, I have a heart for people. Mm-hmm. I love people and I love God. So that combination kind of blended itself together.
Go hand in hand. Huh?
Yeah.
Now, how long have you been a pastor?
I officially started pastoring in 2007.
Okay.
In a little town in the cornfields of Illinois called Streeter, Illinois. And we launched the ministry there, and God was faithful to us throughout the process. So, yeah.
Awesome. That's good to hear. Now, what would you say today to the younger you?
Oh, wow. I don't think we have that much time.
A couple key points.
Well, one of the things I would say is to have absolute courage when you go into a situation, because that's where your confidence is going to come from. And most of the things in life is going to be based on having the courage to have the confidence to make the right choice.
Wow. Say that again, the courage.
To have the confidence to make the right choice.
That's powerful. Okay, one more.
Well, the other thing I would say is go for it.
Wow.
Not to... Sometimes we short-sight ourselves because we don't go for our dreams. And I think that's the plan God ultimately has for us, and that's why we do dream it. But pursue it with everything.
Wow.
And never leave anything wondering, what if?
Yeah, those what ifs. You want to have as few of those as possible,
yes,
right?
Absolutely.
I love that. Okay, so what are some scriptures? Tell me some scriptures that motivate you, keep you going, get you through some weird times where you want to have that sidebar with God.
Oh, my goodness. Well, with this whole Father Factor, because I'm so engulfed in that right now in my thinking, probably Psalms 127, where it talks about blessed is the man whose quiver is full of arrows, symbolizing their children, and that you are responsible to focus them and point them and ultimately help them to hit their target. Sin is called missing the mark. So as a father, it's my responsibility to make sure that my children hit the mark that they were designed for. We all know the scripture, train up a child in the way that he should go, and when he is old, he won't depart from it. But most often we use it a little bit out of context.
Of course.
But what it really means is to study your children, to know what you have so you can help them again hit that mark.
Okay, I got a new way of thinking of that scripture. Okay. So now tell me, what made you decide we need this kind of ministry for fathers?
Well, I've been in church all my life. I've been in mega churches, some of the most phenomenal ministries in the world. I was in the military, and we were in churches where all of us that were of a certain hue, we went to worship together across the denominational lines. So you can imagine if we are 40 people strong, and we probably have 20 different denominations. Wow. So we had to really get away from the denominational teachings and get what the Bible actually talks about, the principles. So that was really the basis and the foundation of my growth into ministry. So as a result of that, when I started doing ministry in more of a denominational setting, I ran into some bumps and bruises because I realized I can grow a church. Now that I understand pastoring, I could grow a church to the general size of a church, which is about 200 people. And so I can affect change in the lives of those 200 people. And after a while, because of the message that you get from God, you realize more than 200 people need this particular message. Yeah. The phenomenon of mega churches, which is 2,000 plus, it's a rarity. And most people just see those because they are so popular. Mm-hmm. But in the bigger context, most churches are smaller. And so sometimes you have to look outside of that, and being around ministries that were doing phenomenal things on a larger scale that weren't necessarily pastors, it's causing me to reframe what I do. So I realized if I'm going to help change what I really see that my gifts and skills can affect, then I need to get outside of my small context and go into something that's larger so that I can really help people. Because that's the real goal. Yes.
And so how long have you had the Father Factor Ministry?
Well, it's interesting because it really birthed out of, and I almost hate to say this, but I was to some degree angry because of something that I saw. A couple of Father Days past, I saw a card that said, "Happy Father's Day, Mom." Wow. And that struck a chord with me that I can't shake, because I never, being a single parent and being raised by a single parent and being around single parents and ministering to them, no one should ever diminish who they are to try to replace it. I often use this example. I don't care how much salt you use, you can't replace the pepper in something. So if you're salt, you can be the best salt in the world. You can be whatever, but you can never be pepper.
Never be pepper.
So
that's a great analogy.
Regard. So I know.
Makes it plain right there. Wow. So now explain, what is your goal? What is your focus for this ministry with fathers?
Well, actually, I want to be the voice that people think of when they say fathers. If there's a critical issue in our community, especially in the context of Black and brown communities, there really isn't a voice for fathers. We're vacant and silent, and oftentimes we're used as a prop to promote something negative, right? But never anything really positive. And so, we get glimpses like commercials that show a dad with his daughter dancing, doing pom-poms, and that's phenomenal to me. But rarely is it really mainstream that fathers are recognized for who they should be to their children. And that to me is going to be my life's work.
Wow. Now, how many children do you have?
Well, that's a loaded question.
Okay.
Simply because I was an adoptive parent before I became a biological parent. Wow. When my mom died in 1985, I was 18, going on 19 years of age, in the military, and my mom died from breast cancer. Wow. She was the rock in my life, and so I had a unique privilege to get a trip home from Germany, spent 2 weeks with her that were probably the most phenomenal of our lives together, the two of us. And in that, she asked me to take on a responsibility that I haven't left since. And that was to make sure that my younger brother and sister were okay. And so ultimately that ended up with me adopting them and going through that process of becoming a father before I really knew what it was to be one.
You were ready to even be a father.
Right. So
wow. So you have your brother and your sister, and then?
My brother and my sister, and then I had biological. So I have 3 biological, then I got remarried, and my wife has a son, so that's my other son. So if I do the math and stepkids, it's a lot.
But what's nice about your story is you have a nice cross section. You could talk to stepdads, you could talk to single dads, you could talk to dads like you adopted your siblings.
Yes.
So you have
I tell people I've been every kind you could be. I've been a good one, depending on which one of my children you ask. I've been a bad one. I've been a stepfather. I've been an adoptive father. Wow. I am a biological father. I am a godfather, and now I'm a grandfather because I have a 7-year-old grandson and a granddaughter on the way. So I've been every kind of father you could be before I turned 45.
So you got the labels.
So I got
Wow.
So I can talk to you. I might not know all the right answers, but I know the better questions.
So since you can talk to us,
yes.
What advice? What would you say to fathers, stepfathers, single dads?
Well, the main thing is I think we need to help fathers define what that role is. Wow. Because I think that's where a lot of the problem is stemming from, because we don't know what the role of a father is. Most people think provider first. I disagree with that. I think it's a protector first. If you protect something, you will provide for it. But the bigger role is the protection of it. And if I protect something, then I also have to give it identity. And I have to identify it. That's why we as men, when we get married, we give you our name. Because now you are identified under the protection of my name. So if I give you that, then confidence will come because you'll know who you are. And that's what fathers uniquely are equipped to give their children.
Okay. So, well, there you go.
You know, and I think even in that context, there are a couple other things, because there are some things that mothers are uniquely equipped to give. In the case of mothers help their daughters become women. Mothers help their sons become gentlemen. Fathers help their daughters become ladies. They help their sons become men. Because it's a thinking, it's a thinking. Fathers are seed givers. So no woman can be or should even want to be a father because she doesn't give seed, she receives seed. So it's a whole different concept. So we should mix that so that our children now grow up, because if you have a son and you tell him I'm your mom and your dad, then what is he supposed to be? Because how is he going to learn how to be his children's dad? And our role as parents is to leave our children in position so that they can take care of themselves after we're gone.
And so that's why God has a mother and a father.
Absolutely.
Because we both have our own unique roles, something unique that we bring to the table.
Absolutely.
That's phenomenal. And I've never heard it described that way. So I love the fact that we're getting it out there.
Well, I mean, when you think of it, everyone knows it, but they've never, I think, just really thought about it deep enough. Woman comes out of man. So there's a part of her that came out of him that he no longer has. You have it. He doesn't have that anymore. So you both come together and become the one. And that one is the one that the children need so that they can be protected and they can be nurtured and they can be loved and they can grow up balanced. Because it doesn't matter if they lift with one arm, if you're weightlifting. If you only do one side, you're going to be deformed to some capacity. Yeah.
I love that. So now you are in Chicago. How does our audience reach out and become or even help or gain knowledge from this ministry that you have?
For a season, I've been doing Facebook Live. I usually come on every day, and I was doing that as a test. And so we're doing some research based on what that test was. So we're going to launch back out probably within the next 30 days. And we'll be doing some Facebook Live on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Monday, so it kind of recaps the weekend. Wednesday, so you can get some workout in and do some wonderful and phenomenal things so that you can do better during the week. And then Friday, so you can get focused for the weekend. Because a lot of parents do a lot of connection over the weekend. And so you can get a lot of stuff done.
So now how does one find you on Facebook?
On Facebook, I'm Cornelius Clark, Senior. I'm senior. My son is junior. My grandson is the third. So
junior.
Junior.
Okay, and then we'll have that up on the screen for you guys to find him. And I'm excited. So now I'm very interested. Would you recommend women watch it as well?
Oh, absolutely. Because this ministry is not about fathers. This is for fathers and those that love them. So you could be his mother, you could be a sister, you could be an aunt. Because I really do believe that the village is responsible for the child. I recall a story of a lecture I went to where I got to hear that in a true sense of what a village was. This young lady was in Africa and she was admiring a baby. And she was a visitor, but she was in the actual chief's hut. And because she was in the chief's hut, she looked at the child and said, listen, this is a beautiful baby. He said, okay, here. Another guy walks up and gives her the baby, and he left for the day because he trusted who she was because of where she was located. Being in that hut meant that you are already vetted so that you could be trusted to care for this child, because we collectively raise our children. And in our community, in our context, we generally have done that over the years. We've kind of lost some of that over the last few years, but we really need to get back to where I could trust your child in my hands, kind of thing.
Now, you said a quote earlier that I said we had to repeat it about the stats. with African American fathers?
Oh, yes. Well, that's one of the things. The CDC did a research, and so they have the data that shows that African American men are actually the most connected with their children out of all households.
Wow.
And a lot of people don't generally see that because what we think is that the African American man is not present.
Right.
One of the other things that's not factored in is that though they may not be married, they may very well cohabitate. Not necessarily the best situation, but for the child doesn't know the difference between mom and dad being married or mom and dad cohabitating. Right. At 3 months old, I doubt if they understand the other side. But they do get the nurturing and the love of both parents.
Wow. I love that. Now, okay, so for young men growing up, and, you know, they have some sense of what they think a father is. What do you have for them? Okay, we're trying to get them before they take that step into fatherhood. What advice do you have for them?
Well, the thing is, when you know who you are, one of the things about fathers is you're being responsible for what you create. So when you're the seed bearer, your responsibility is to make sure that whatever you create grows into full maturity. So if you understand that you're the guy who carries seed, so we know the scripture that talks about seed time and harvest. So you're responsible from the standpoint of when the seed is planted up until it's harvested, which means adulthood. So I'm responsible, and each age and stage is what I like to tell people. You're going to go through transitions in that process. So my daughter actually helped me learn this. I think she was maybe about 13 years old, my oldest daughter. And we were just struggling with trying to connect, because it's a work in progress forever. Because as my children grow and mature, I have to grow and mature to match where they are. So at every age and stage. So I say every age has 3 stages. It's immature, normal, and mature. And so the children choose the stage that they're going to operate in. I get to choose the response to it. Every age, I told my daughter, okay, so you're 13. You can't act 16 because you're not. You're 13. But you can be mature in 13. So in those ages and stages. So I would teach a young father, when you're making this decision, and you have to be conscious enough to understand your seed, meaning that if you're going to get with someone else who is soil in that sense, then make sure you never plant seed where there isn't the proper soil to grow your seed, because you're going to be responsible for that. If I was going to plant a palm tree, I would probably go into sand because that would match the seed. But if I was going to grow greens, I probably want to be in black dirt because it has more of the nutrients that the greens need. So one of the things I would say to a young man is make sure that wherever you're planting seed, they have the capacity to raise your seed to its fullest potential. And if you're not willing to do that, then you shouldn't deposit seed there. So that's what I would say to them.
I love that your analogies are plain. Like, you can't question what you mean when you say, like, okay, salt, pepper, got it.
Yes.
You can't do both. But it was a pleasure talking to you, but I heard a secret.
Oh, wow.
I'm just saying, little birdie told me that you have a phenomenal singing voice. So what we're going to do is we're going to let you, get your vocal cords together. And we're going to come back and hear this phenomenal man of God, sing and motivate and uplift us and inspire us.
Thank you.
We'll be back soon.
between the ticks of the clock. Available at these retailers.
Are you ready to make monumental changes in your life, business, or relationship and are looking for a push in the right direction? Tony and Nicole Davis from the brand new TV show Family Futures Today offer personal development and relationship coaching services so that you can get your life and your relationships on a path to success. After nearly 3 decades of marriage, Tony and Nicole know what it takes to have a dynamic marriage and be inspiring parents without giving up on personal goals and dreams. As co-founders of Empowered to Engage, they've released the Done Right book series on leadership, marriage, and parenting, and travel across the United States, helping people just like you. And now, they're expanding to help individuals, couples, and families around the globe. For more information and to sign up for your free consultation, visit www.empoweredtoengage.com.
Like you, my family is always looking for great movies and TV shows to enjoy together. So you can only imagine how excited I was when we decided to create our very own media ministry, Road to Eternity. We believe in creating entertainment that edifies the soul by developing stories that incorporate faith and hope in people's lives. So whether you're watching a movie or even a television show, we desire to bring you closer to Jesus Christ by releasing entertainment that your family and friends can enjoy. From our family to yours, we thank you for joining us as we take you on this new and exciting journey.
As I said before the break, this phenomenal man of God has a talent for singing. And this is an original that we get to hear. So.
Well, let me at least set it up. This song I wrote, there was a 90-day window in my life when, which culminated with my father dying. And that led me to writing this song because we had reconnected over the years after my mother passed. So this song is birthed out of that moment. What is the name above all names that I can call? And in that name, every knee will bow and confess that He is Lord, who was the one to stoop so low for me. Loose my shackles, chains then set me free. Whoa, what is the name above all other names? His name is Jesus Christ, the perfect sacrifice. He died on the cross so my soul would not be lost. He took away the shame after He changed my name. He washed away my sins. Now I'm born again. Jesus, my King. Oh, Jesus, my King. Jesus, my King. Oh, Jesus, my King. Thank you.
That was awesome. And you wrote this.
Yeah, I wrote that.
Oh,
yeah.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that with us.
Thank you.
And thank you for singing and giving us some new ideas of what a father is. It was a pleasure to meet you and to have you on the show.
Thank you
for
so
blessing
much,
us. Really quick, do you have one scripture that you can give to people that just for today, for this moment, after you sing this song?
Well, in Malachi 4:6, it talks about when things change, God will turn the heart of the fathers back to their children. And it will save a whole lot of the problems that we are facing now. So if you look at Malachi 6 again with fresh eyes, you'll see that there is an attack to make sure that that does not happen, which should give us a reason to make sure that we don't let the enemy win. We have to turn the hearts of the children back to their fathers.
Thank you. Malachi 6.
Yes.
Pastor Cornelius Clark.
Thank you.